the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.
Welcome to the Shrimply Good podcast, the podcast for Pistol Shrimp Baseball. I'm Lucas Burris. Across from me is Jayce Eustice, and welcome to episode 4 of the 2023 season of the Shrimply Good podcast. Jayce, we are into the second half of the season and a pretty good first, week or so of games for the Pistol Shrimp in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we're all enjoying our off day here on Wednesday, but it's going to get right back to it with the tough opponent coming in, Schweickert, and hopefully the Pistol Shrimp just keep it rolling.
Yeah, it's going to have a fun Thursday and Friday of this week, but we get to enjoy our nice Wednesday off day.
Yep.
We had a quick off day coming up. We'll have Tuesday of next week and then double Wednesdays and then no off day. We're all fearing the last week of the season when there's no off days for the Shrimp. But if you make the playoffs, you get at least 2 off days. So that's the exciting part there for the Shrimp. But we've got lots to talk about what happened this past week. We have the final 3 games of the first half, the first 2 games of the second half. We're going to jump right in, Jayce. Let's talk about how the Pistol Shrimp started off that last weekend of play in the first half. It was a tough loss for the Pistol Shrimp. They fell 7-6 to the Normal Corn Belters.
Yeah, that was a tight game. Really, the Shrimp battled throughout. They actually out-hit Normal in this game, but surrendered a run in the bottom of that 9th inning to fall 7-6. The offense collected 11 hits, came up just short against a familiar foe. David Andolina, he went an inning in this one, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, 3 strikeouts. Christian Padilla was good, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs. Only one of them was earned, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Sam Corbett came in relief as well. He went an inning and a third, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and a K. Justin Rios was hung with the loss in this one, but he looked good as far as his stat line, 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. On the offensive side of things for the Pistol Shrimp, Tyler Dorsch, he got a home run in this one, his first of the season. He was 2 for 5 with that RBI. Alton Geiselman also knocked his first home run of the season, 2 for 4, couple RBIs, including a triple for Alton in this one. Cody Kashimoto continued his hot run, 2 for 4, including an RBI. Logan Delgado, 2 for 3 and a double. And in this game, the Shrimp scored 6 of the runs across 4 innings, but before they lost that game there in walk-off fashion, which has been all too familiar for the Pistol Shrimp so far this season.
This was what I would call a turning point game in the season. So this was a game for the Shrimp that they probably should have won. It just kind of got away from them. You're down early, which has been a common theme for the Pistol Shrimp throughout the season, of kind of getting down after some first inning runs and having to put the comeback on. But the ball was flying out of Normal during this Friday game. Really some line drives left. Tyler Dorsch just sent a rocket out of the field at one point. He's got that short wall in Normal. The turf was really hopping in Normal after the rain that had just happened around there as well. So it was a weird game. There was more than a few weird hops in this one. And it ended on the second base umpire getting nailed with a line drive for the Corn Belters to win it. That was how this game ended for the Shrimp. So manager John Jackman came out, had a fury of conversation with the umpires after that one. And it was a lot to do with the fact that they were probably out of position when hit with that line drive, but also had a lot to do with the Pistol Shrimp had lost another game in a fashion that just didn't make sense for what the season had gone on. We were 2 games away from the end of the first half, and it was, loss number 9 in the first half of the season. That just was what just happened? We were winning, or we had just come back. So it was a lot for this team to kind of, hey, we got to figure out what's going on here. And I remember we were looking at it the next day as we'll talk about the Lumber Kings game for the Shrimp team. It was a team sitting down and being like, something's got to change at this point. We're doing so good on every aspect, but somehow we continue to lose. So this was a big regroup game. And I think it's actually a really good loss for the Shrimp as we move towards the second half of this season, because you'll see what the Pistol Shrimp do in the next 3 games. But this game right here was a turning point for the Shrimp, where everyone kind of woke up a little bit and was like, we got to stop losing games on balls off the umpires in the middle of the infield.
Yeah.
It's kind of that stuff for the Shrimp. So as we move into the next 3 games, you'll notice it's a different kind of Pistol Shrimp team after this loss to the Normal Corn Belters. We jump right to Clinton, and the Pistol Shrimp just jump out for a huge victory, 11-2 over the Lumber Kings on Saturday.
Yeah, they really came out swinging in that game, especially against a team that was really good throughout the first half of the season, locked up that first half playoff spot for them. Ivy put up 3 crooked numbers in this one with a 4 spot in the third, and in the 7th, a 3 spot in the 9th while collecting 13 hits. Daniel Vogt got the start. He went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. None of them were earned, 1 walk and 4 Ks. He was really good, and then he passed it over to the bullpen as well. Daniel Strom, an inning, 1 hit, 0 runs, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. You love to see that. River Scott coming in, 2 innings of work, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 1 K. And Jason Shanner coming in and closing that door, 1 inning, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Evan Evola had the big shot in this one, a grand slam. He was 1-for-1 with those 4 RBIs. Cody Kashimoto hit a 3-run home run in his 1-for-4 day. Kedron Kinsey had probably his best game of the season up there at the plate, 3-for-4 with a double. He also had a walk. Jackson Delgado, Silken also collected 2 hits apiece as the Shrimp really ran away with this one in Clinton. And as you said, it's a really good game of just kind of deciding we're no longer going to find ways to lose baseball games. We got to start to find ways to win these baseball games. And this was really just a tone setter here coming out in this game.
It was probably the best all-around victory that wasn't a blowout for the Pistol Shrimp this season, even though it was, it's a big 9-run victory for the Shrimp. This was a game where we saw an Evan Evola grand slam in the third that gave the Pistol Shrimp the lead. And that was the game-winning hit in this one because the pitching was so good. One of the best pitching performances we've seen from the Shrimp this season. And then we saw a big hits towards the end of the game as well for the Pistol Shrimp, including, I'm going to sneeze. It was coming up, Jayce. I was like, oh no, I'm good. Here, let's continue. That one, you could feel me starting to rise.
It happens, man.
We're fighting the sneeze. All right, Cody Kashimoto hit one towards the end of that game. While his 3-run home run was that 9th inning shot for the Shrimp as well. So really just an all-around really good victory. But Vogue set the table here for the Shrimp, and the Pistol Shrimp just did everything they needed to do in this one to pick up the victory. It was a really good game against a team that rolled out their starters. The Lumber Kings had the starters back in the lineup, and they held that first half division champion kind of scoreless almost in this one. I know they had 9 hits, but only 2 runs. It was a really, really good game for the Pistol Shrimp on all aspects, and they kept it rolling the next night as well in a 9-3 victory at home against those Lumber Kings on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Second consecutive game against Clinton. It's not an easy task, a really good team out there, but Finn O'Mara came out, got the start in that one. He was fantastic in that start. He went 3 innings, only gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts, faced the minimum through those 3 innings. He got that guy out on a double play who got on with that base knock. Then he passed it over to Gage Burdick, who went a 3 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. Nico Espoqueta came in for a third of an inning of work, no hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and a K. Jason Shanner came in and just kind of that do-it-all arm out of that bullpen, coming in when we need him. 2 1/3 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, no Ks. Cody Kashimoto continued his hot run. He was only 1 for 5 in this game, but that one was a home run, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Zach Lane, really good, 3 for 5, 2 RBIs, 1 run, including the double. And Luis Perona, 2 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, and a double as well. Shrimp really backed up their great pitching performance on the other end with a 9-run, 9-hit performance to grab that win, to really just close out that first half and really set yourself up for success moving into the second half.
Yeah, the nice part about this game, a wire-to-wire victory for the Shrimp in this one. Take the lead in the second, continue just to score. As the Lumber Kings score in the 7th, you score 4 in the 8th. So the Pistol Shrimp just did a really good job in this one, not making it too close, just going wire-to-wire victory. 2 really good wins against a very, very good Lumber Kings team. But then you have an opportunity. That's the end of the first half. So you did a good job. You ended the first half with 2 straight victories against the Clinton Lumber Kings. The idea we talked about on the broadcast this week, keep it rolling into the second half of the season. The Pistol Shrimp did a great job in game 1. This was on Monday as the Pistol Shrimp defeated the Alton River Dragons 11-7 at Schweickert Stadium.
Yeah, and this game was a little bit different from what we've seen in the previous 2 games. It wasn't wire to wire as the Shrimp fell behind 6-0 before they stormed back with 11 straight runs to grab that win and kick off the second half 1-0. It took the offense into that 5th inning to get to the starter for the River Dragons, but once they did, they didn't look back. 5 runs in the 5th, 4 runs in the 6th, 2 more in the 7th. It was more than enough to get the win in this one. The offense really kind of led the attack. Xander Silken, 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a walk. Zach Lane, 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, including a triple. Max Handren, 3 for 4 with an RBI, 2 doubles in this one. Logan Delgado, 3 for 4, 2 RBIs and a run. So really it was those 4 that was doing most of the damage. 12 hits between those 4 guys, Silken, Lane, Handren, Delgado. David Andolina was good on the mound getting the start, but got roughed up a little bit in that first inning with a big shot there by Brockmeyer. But he went 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Ryan Keeley, one of his best performances that we've seen from him in a Pistol Shrimp uniform, 2 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 1 strikeout. And then Seabass coming in, closing the door, 2 innings of work, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Took him a few innings to get going in this one, but in the end, the Shrimp offense got the job done. 11 runs, 15 hits. You'll take that any day.
Yeah, the question in this game is who's going to get bit by Brockmeyer, and it was the first pitcher and the third pitcher as well. That was where really the runs came for the Alton River Dragons in this one, as he just continued to look good on the other side of things for the Alton River Dragons. We'll talk about that in the loss coming up. But for the Shrimp, a really good victory in this one on the comeback side of things. You're showing that you can continue to perform, and it's really where the mindset of this offense is at this point, knowing no matter how many runs we give up, we have more than enough capability to come back no matter what the deficit is. And that was what showed the Pistol Shrimp in this one. And once you come back in a game, you extend your lead as well. So that was really exciting for the Shrimp in this one, just to continue to score over those 3 straight innings towards the back half of this game, get the lead, extend the lead, and move away from the Alton River Dragons in this one. Just a really good victory for the Shrimp. They start the second half 1-0, but the next time around, it's a tough Alton River Dragons team. It's tough to beat a team 2 games in a row, and the River Dragons just did just enough yesterday on Tuesday to pick up the 10-6 victory over the Pistol Shrimp.
Yeah, and that first inning really was just deja vu. Once again, Brockmeyer hit a 3-run home run to lead off that game as well. Shrimp, you got to give them credit. They battled back in this one, but ultimately, as you said, dropped this one 10-6. For the second straight game, Alton jumped out quick on the Shrimp pitching, but the comeback came up just a little bit short after they cut the lead to 1. Brett Baldus, he got the loss in this one, but he got the start, but he was on short notice, obviously coming in, not realizing he was going to start until almost game time was coming up, and he only went a third of an inning, gave up 1 hit, 3 earned runs. That 1 hit was that 3-run shot there to Brockmeyer, 3 walks as well. Justin Rios coming in out of the bullpen, though, he kept the Pistol Shrimp in this game pretty much the entire time he was in there. 2 2/3 innings of work, 5 hits, 4 runs. Only 2 of them were earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Juju Thompson went an inning into the third, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them were earned, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. And then Christian Padilla, he looks good on the mound, an inning and 2/3 of work, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 1 K. Zach Lane was 2 for 5, including a big home run, his first of the season, really unloaded on one down that left field line, Ryan Bakes was 2 for 2, but 3 walks, 3 runs scored in this one. Jake Ferguson 1 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. And Nico Espoqueda was 2 for 3 with a couple doubles in this one. The Shrimp grabbed the momentum back from Alton, got it back to that 6-7 ball game. But then when Alton came out and scored 3 runs in that 8th inning, it really just kind of put this one out of reach.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was there. Just Alton just did enough in this game. It was a complete performance from the River Dragons in this one, just to continue to attack their lead. That's what good teams will do in the second half of the season. It was a nice victory for the River Dragons, who have had a tough year so far. This victory was only their 10th of the season, but they're only a few games behind the Pistol Shrimp now in the overall standings. So both of these teams looking for a better second half. They're both starting off 1-1, which I think is even playing field for both of these teams, who I think have very talented teams moving forward. And on the Pistol Shrimp side of things, just looking to move forward against a very tough Chillicothe Paints team that's going to come to Schweickert Stadium on Thursday of this week. But for the Pistol Shrimp, we'll talk about what's happening throughout their entire season now, as that recaps the past 5 games for the Shrimp. They end up going 3-2 over those 5 games over the past week, and it moves their overall record to 13-16 on the season. They finished the first half 12-15. They are 1-1 in the second half so far. They're 9-5 at home, which has been a nice record, but only 4-11 on the road for the Pistol Shrimp has been a tough part so far this season. It almost seems like every time we're coming home, we're expecting to pick up a victory, even with the 5 losses this year. But every time on the road, you know it's tough sledding for the Pistol Shrimp in some tough road environments. But for the Shrimp, they're doing a lot of good things at this point on the team side of things in terms of the statistics, Jayce.
Yeah, absolutely. Those numbers just continue to climb as far as the team batting average. A 291 up there, that's third in the Prospect League. A 409 on base percentage, also third in the Prospect League. They got that slugging percentage we talked about just a couple of podcasts ago, how we were wanting to see a little bit more slug. Now at 414, fourth in the Prospect League, 287 hits. That is third in the league, and 213 runs. It's also good for third in the league. Now up to 54 doubles and 19 home runs. Both of those good for fourth in the Prospect League. That's how you get that slugging percentage up. In this team, they take those walks, 137 throughout this season, and the free passes, third in the Prospect League. So on the offensive side of things, just continuing to climb. It seems like every single time we're putting the numbers together before these games, they're just climbing up another couple of teams in those rankings. It's looking really good on the offensive side over this stretch.
Yeah, the offense has just continued to look good. That's the exciting part for the Shrimp as we move ahead in this season. We know this offense looks like it's capable enough to win every game in the second half just based on its offensive performance alone. And the numbers kind of show that of how hot they've been as of late. But it's really good to see those slugs start to come, as you mentioned. We were doing this just a week ago when we were not in the top 5 in home runs and doubles. So it tells you how good of a hitting performance the Pistol Shrimp have had over the past week, or almost 2 weeks now, including those Aviators games last week as well. So the Pistol Shrimp should continue to rise. But the nice part as well is the pitching is catching up as well, which has been lower for the Pistol Shrimp as of late. We're getting back up there. We started the season nice, kind of went on a downturn. Now we're moving it back up on the pitching side of things. So the Pistol Shrimp now to 5th or 6th in the league, I should say, in ERA at 5.70. But they are 3rd in strikeouts on the mound with 253, and they are 3rd in hits given up with 227. Where the Pistol Shrimp have struggled on the mound this season is walks, but when they limit the hits, when they grab the strikeouts, when they let their defense go to work, it's been a nice season for the Shrimp. However, the defense has struggled a little bit this season, now sitting at 13th in the league at 951. But where the Pistol Shrimp have really excelled this season, double plays, 2nd in the league with total number of double plays turned at 28 total. Every game almost, it seems like we're getting a Pistol Shrimp double play. I mean, we played 30 games and then we got 28 of them, so that just makes sense. We had one game where we had 4, so we're numbers are skewed a little bit, but 28 games this season, or 28 double plays this season for the Shrimp has been a really nice thing that we've seen. The middle infield has looked really good as of late, turning up some quick double plays. And a nice thing as well is runners caught stealing, which isn't always a strength of a Pistol Shrimp club. It's led by Alton Geisman, who we'll get to as we talk about some leaderboards, but 16 runners caught stealing this season for the Shrimp. That is 4th in the prospect league as well. So doing some good things in the defensive side in terms of when balls are put in play, but in terms of some errors, we're still getting some skewed off some 5-6 error games for the Shrimp earlier in this season. But the Pistol Shrimp moving up in the pitching side of things, moving up in the hitting side of things, kind of really rocketing in the hitting side of things as well. So it's looking like the second half of the season is going to look really good for the Shrimp, but it's going to be led by some really good players for the Shrimp as well. So let's look at those top 10 leaderboards for the Pistol Shrimp in terms of what they've been able to do after the first half of the season. So this is pretty much where are they sitting after one half of a prospect league season.
Yeah. And on the batting side of things, not too much as far as the top 10. As we mentioned, it's really the 1 through 9 attack that has kind of benefited the Pistol Shrimp. But Max Handren, got to give him credit, up there 8th in the prospect league with 8 doubles. And then when you really see these team leaders is more on that pitching and defense side of things. And it's led by Sebastian Gonzalez, 1st in ERA in the prospect league at a 1.48, 1st in strikeouts with 48, 3rd in innings pitched at 30 1/3, and 1st in K per 9 at 13.35. But followed by that number 2 man in that rotation, that is David Andolina, 1st in starts for these Pistol Shrimp and in the prospect league at 7. He's 5th in innings pitched at 29.2, 5th in strikeouts with 36, 7th in the prospect league at K per 9 at 10.92. And on the defensive side of things, as you mentioned, there are some bright spots. Nico Espoqueda, he's been involved in 17 double plays. That's good for 2nd in the prospect league. And Alton Geiselman has been huge behind the plate at limiting base runners, 2nd in the prospect league with runners caught stealing at 10 now after his performance yesterday.
Yeah, Nico isn't always doing all the hard work for those double plays, but he has been involved in 17. So I wanted to point that out.
The benefit of a first baseman right there.
It's a very high number that I'm seeing there as the Pistol Shrimp continue to turn a lot of double plays. But Alton Geisman's really the story for the Shrimp. He has single-handedly almost stopped the running games for most teams, as he's caught more than a handful of games behind the plate now for the Shrimp, knowing that he's going to be able to stop that running game. He is just doing some special stuff defensively behind the plate this season for the Shrimp. And then you talked about it on the pitching side of things. It's really dominated by those two. There's not too many of the prospect league or the Pistol Shrimp players in the prospect league top 10 or around that in pitching, other than Gonzalez and Andolina. But on the hitting side of things, you only see Handren in one of those categories in the top 10, but there is a boatload of Pistol Shrimp just outside of that top 10 as we look for it. Just a few of the 10. Logan Delgado is just a few at bats away from cracking into some leaderboards. He's outside of that as well. Same thing goes with Cody Kashimoto. Same thing goes with Xander Silken. Handren has found his way into that as well, but there's a lot of guys who just don't have enough at bats so far this season to crack into it, which in terms of leaderboards, tough to find guys, but in terms of production, it doesn't matter because that guy's still hitting 400 as we move forward. So really for the Pistol Shrimp, there's a lot of things that you can look outside of those leaderboards, but there's a lot of those guys like Dorsch and Perona, and now Lane's moving up there as well as he gets more bats, who are getting closer to qualified hitters or hitters who are already qualified who are just outside of that top 10, top 15 range in the prospect league. But some really good stuff, and really you're looking for on that pitching side of things who's going to move forward, and we'll talk about that as well. But Daniel Vogt is kind of one of those guys that's kind of sitting out there. He's the first one you kind of notice outside of those top 2 to see if they can move forward, and there's a lot of pitchers who are looking at to make an impact in this next week in the second half of the season for the Shrimp. So let's look at what's coming up for the Pistol Shrimp this coming week.
Yeah, leading off this week, it'll be 2 back-to-back games against those Chillicothe Paints. The first one that's tomorrow, so Thursday, July 6th against Chillicothe, 7:05 start here in Peru. Second one, following it back up, Friday, July 7th, also against those Paints, 7:05 first pitch in that one. Then they'll go on the road Saturday, July 8th at Burlington, 6:30 scheduled start for that one. A Sunday road game, Sunday, July 9th at Clinton, 2 o'clock first start for that one. And then they'll end that week with a Monday, July 10th game at Lafayette as a scheduled 6 p.m. start for that one.
Yeah, those that Sunday game against Clinton is the earliest start of the year for the Shrimp as well. We're getting a 2 p.m. start time up there on the Sunday in Clinton. But otherwise, normal games. We head back to Lafayette as well, which is exciting. We've been to Lafayette more than a few times this season. A beautiful place to play at Loeb
Absolutely.
Stadium. So nice road games as well. 2 longer drives for Burlington and Lafayette, but not like overly long for the Shrimp, and a nice easy drive to Clinton as well. So we'll see some really good teams this week though as well.
Yeah.
And Clinton, Lafayette, Chillicothe, those are all teams that I think they have in the top 5 in records this year in the league. So looking at those teams as well. And then Burlington, of course, under the Shrimp in the division for most of the year. So hopefully you can pick up a nice victory against the Burlington Bees on the road again. But let's talk about some upcoming theme nights here for the Pistol Shrimp this week. We just have the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday. On Thursday, the Pistol Shrimp will have Little League night at Schweickert Stadium. The Pistol Shrimp Little League night is presented by State Farm agent Lori Janko Wilkie and Janko Realty. We'll do a 7:05 first pitch on Thursday with gates opening at 6 p.m. We'll do food from the Doghouse and Maria's, and all the local youth baseball and softball teams pregame parade is at 6:30. Our 3rd annual big pregame parade with local baseball, youth baseball and softball teams. So get excited for that on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to Polish night. It's another fun, exciting night at the ballpark. Polish night is back. We're presented by Decor again, a 7:05 first pitch. That night we'll have food from the pierogi rig, which is very exciting, coming down from Chicago, a very famous food truck coming down to serve up some pierogies. But if you want that local flair, Tony's Butt Shack will be there as well on Friday. We're going to do a 5:35 pregame concert with Eddie Caruso and the boys. So get excited for that one as well. They are back for the 2nd straight year with the Shrimp. So just like Cody Calkins earlier this season, Eddie Caruso will be out perform a pregame concert right near the concourse in the stands at Schweickert Stadium. So get really excited for what's coming up this week. We don't have another home game until Wednesday of next week. So it's these 2 games, Thursday and Friday of this week, you got to get excited for with the Pistol Shrimp. But of all the excitement of the Shrimply Good podcast, let's head to the favorite part of the Shrimply Good podcast, Jayce. Let's talk about the Shrimply Good players of the week presented by Tangled Roots Brewing Company.
Yeah, and when we talk about Shrimply Good players of the week, I think there was really no doubt on the hitting side of things. It's been the emergence of Zach Lane. He's been incredible throughout this last week. 4 games played, 19 at-bats, 8 hits in those 19 at-bats, 4 runs scored, 6 RBIs. He's got a double, a triple, a home run. He's crossing everything off the list. 421 average, a 400 on-base percentage, and a 737 slugging percentage. Zach Lane has been one of those guys who now finds himself in the middle of that order, and I mentioned it on the broadcast. I've said it a couple of times. We're at the point of the season. He hits everything on a line. He's just hitting the cover off the baseball, and it is just incredibly fun to watch. So Zach Lane gets it here this week.
Yeah, he kind of solely led the Pistol Shrimp in a lot of games this week as well. He really did a great job of setting the table, driving in some runs, just whatever position you put him in. He did a really, really good job this week. He gets the nod with, pretty hitting the cycle over a week. He didn't do it in one game, but he did get a double, a triple, and a home run. He's the first person this season for the Shrimp to grab all of those in 1 week this season. So that's exciting for Zach Lane. On the pitching side of things, we're rolling it back. The first 2-timer this season, Daniel Vogue will pick up our Shrimply Good pitcher of the week. Vogue went 1 game, but it was fantastic for Vogue. 5 innings. That's the high mark for a starter over this week. He went 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. 4 strikeouts was only 2 behind the team lead this week as well. So Vogue did a great job with a 0.00 ERA. He picked up a win on the mound, went the longest amount, and almost had the most strikeouts in the team. So Daniel Vogue will grab this week's Shrimply Good pitcher of the week. So Lane and Vogue, your Shrimply Good players of the week, presented by Tangled Roots Brewing Company. Jayce, I'm excited for the week to come, but 2 home games before we kind of hit 3 games in the road, and then we'll return on Tuesday for the Shrimply Good podcast. But as we move ahead into this week, as we move towards the second half, what do these Pistol Shrimp faithful need to know from us?
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of dig into the numbers for the Pistol Shrimp, where the record is sitting, where their numbers have kind of sit, just kind of don't match up. And I think we're just kind of waiting for this Pistol Shrimp team to really take off. Had a couple real close, tough games there against Alton to start off the second half. You're able to split those. Now you got Chillicothe coming to town. You got a chance to go out there, really kind of set the tone. If you're able to get 1, maybe 2 away from those Paints, who have one of the best records in the Prospect League. They've already locked up their playoff spot, as a lot of people expect them to do. It can really set yourself up for when you go out there on the road, start to win those road games. All of a sudden, you're rolling downhill, and everybody's feeling a lot better about this season.
I'm excited for what's to come as well, but I agree with you exactly there with the Shrimp. There's a lot of exciting things to come up, and this team can really be a really good second half team, but you got to get out to Schweickert Stadium and support them as well. There is a lot of home games this coming month in July for the Pistol Shrimp. So make sure you get out starting with Thursday and Friday this week. For always the up-to-date Pistol Shrimp baseball schedule, head to pistolshrimpbaseball.com. Head to that schedule tab. It's got everything you need to know about what the Pistol Shrimp are doing this coming July. We hope to see everyone in the ballpark this week, as I mentioned, on Thursday and Friday. And if you can't make it to the game, remember, you can always listen live to Pistol Shrimp Radio on 103.9 WLPO, online, on your phone, on your radio, wherever you listen to the radio, you can listen to Pistol Shrimp baseball games. And if you want to catch every game streaming, you can go to pistolshrimpbaseball.com. You can go to prospectleague.tv, and you can watch Prospect League TV, Pistol Shrimp home games with me and Jayce right there. So make sure you check that out and subscribe to Prospect League TV. But I want to thank you for stopping by episode 4 of the 2023 season of the Shrimply Good podcast. Fear the Claw, and we'll see you next time.
Do the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.